Good morning or good afternoon, depending on what class you are. Finally, we've reached the self-portrait, and ideally, you have already done a few portraits before you get to your self-portrait. It's a little bit difficult overcoming that feeling of self-consciousness, especially when you're doing a self-portrait, because you know your face pretty well. Not better than others know it, but you think you know your face pretty well. So you're going to have to try to overcome that when you're doing this assignment. And you can choose any measurement technique that you like. I decided to go with the rule of halves measuring technique combined with relational proportion because I had the image there next to my drawing as my reference. Some of you might have the image. Some of you might not. Ideally, you would like to work either from life, so looking in a mirror, or from an image. I'm not working from a mirror, and I think most of you will probably be working from your cell phone, so you'll be heavily dependent on relational proportion as your measuring technique. If you do that, just understand that if this is your first time doing a self-portrait, it's probably not going to turn out the way that you expect it to. The point of this lesson isn't to create a great finished work of art. It's just to learn and get more practice. And like the other portraits that you've done, you want to create an outline. And don't be afraid to rework things. One of the biggest mistakes young artists make is they don't want to do the work, meaning you feel that you've done a lot of work and you don't want to go back and erase it because you feel like it's starting over. It's better to get it right. So if you know you've done something incorrectly, and I knew that I did a few things incorrectly right when I started this portrait, I went back and I reworked it. My eyes were too close together. Because my eyes were too close together, the nose was too centered. So I had to move one of the eyes further out, and the nose had to shift, and the mouth had to shift, and everything had to shift. And the best thing that you could do in those situations is just not hesitate. Don't hesitate. Just fix it. Erase it where it needs to be erased and make the correction and move forward. Now, after I was done looking at my reference, I realized there was still a few more corrections that I could make. But I was already done. So it was too late at that point. Like, for instance, my top lip is too bright. It should have been considerably darker. So my values aren't perfect. But for you guys, I think the biggest challenge is just putting in the work and not being afraid to work it and rework it. And that's going to give you the best result. Some of you try to rush through it and you're not really getting the most out of the lesson. You're not learning as much as you can, because honestly, you're not giving it 100%. In order to take you to the next level, you need to always give 100% so we know where you're at currently. This lesson is a combination of everything you've done so far. It should be a good lesson, an enjoyable lesson, and there isn't too much that you shouldn't know by now. At least the very basics. You shouldn't be completely lost. Make sure that when you're hatching and cross hatching, you're not zigzagging. Make sure that you're using a blending tool to facilitate the process. Either I use a Q-tip or a tissue. You're supposed to use a tortillon. Maybe sometime I'll show you what that actually looks like. And make sure you spread the value beyond your original drawing, because the background should have a little bit of shading to bring the highlights out when you're ready to bring the highlights out. Other than that, I did have fun doing this one. It took about an hour and 40 minutes, the same as the portrait of the young boy. And I'm pretty happy with the end result. It's not perfect. None of my drawings are. But I was pretty happy with it. I do have bags under my eyes. That's just the way that I am. Typically, as a portraitist, we beautify our clients or our patrons, and that is something that clients don't like to see, those bags under the eyes. So it's not uncommon to beautify. If you want to practice on yourself, that's fine. Like if you have baggy bags under your eyes like I do, and you want to try to ease them up or to erase them completely, give it a shot. It'll be a fun learning experience for you guys. I decided not to because sometimes that comes with its own challenges. Trying to get it right. You don't always get it right, and then it feels a little bit unlike you or unlike the client if you do too much. So there's a fine line between making somebody look a little bit younger and then making them look like somebody else entirely. Well, guys, I hope that you enjoy doing this one as well. And there's only a few seconds here, so I just want to say stay safe wherever you are. I hope you enjoy doing this one, and I will see you next time.